Hello friends, welcome back, or welcome if you are new. My name is Elena and I am the homeschooling mama to 3 kiddos. Here on my channel we talk about homeschooling and homemaking and all the things in between. Freezer meals, macro meals, books, planners, really all the things. So today we're going to give you an update on our 9th grade curriculum and tell you how it's kind of going. If you didn't catch the first video where I introduced what we were planning to do for our 9th grade year, I will link that up in the cards and then down below in the description box as well. I have clearly a 9th grader that I am homeschooling this year, and we are just kind of taking it slow and making sure we're hitting all the things that we want to hit. And so let me share with you what is kind of working and what isn't. Right now we have just started the month of October, so at the time of filming it is still the beginning of October. So we've been in school for about a month, a little over a month. For our Bible study, we were going to do Apologia, Who Am I? This is the second in the series, and this is going well. We did the first series, or the first volume, last year, and then we started this one at the end of last year and are continuing on until we finish it. And this is more of a family type Bible study that we do, so they have different levels. They have a coloring book that I actually use for my youngest, who is 6 and on the autism spectrum, and then we have a junior type notebook for my daughter that we use, who is 8 and in 3rd grade, and then my son uses just the regular notebook with this one. So this is going well. We are almost finished with that, so I have gone ahead and picked up the next volume, Who is My Neighbor, and we picked up the coloring book, the junior notebook, and the regular notebook as well for this. I was able to find the books unused that someone was selling because they didn't get to it. So I just had to purchase brand new the junior notebook, and I got that from christianbook.com. I will link it down below if you'd like to check it out. But we are really enjoying this Bible study. I typically read to the kiddos over breakfast, and then they eat their breakfast while I'm reading, and then go right into whatever pages or discussion we want to have with it after that. So this part, Bible study, is going well, and we are still really enjoying the Apologia series. For language arts, we are doing Bookshark, and so we are just doing the language arts portion of Bookshark. Bookshark is a literature-based program, and so there's lots of great books that we're reading and just kind of going off from that. This is just a sample of what week 8 looks like. We are, I believe it would be equivalent to level J, maybe. We have an older version, so it says ages 14 to 16. We are doing that one, and we are doing the 4-day schedule. So far he has read already 2 books, and we've just started our 3rd book, and he is kind of building up paper writing right now, response papers and analyzing papers, things like that. So we're doing that. It does include spelling tests that are optional that you can do with him, and I kind of do that every other week with him, just depending how much our workload is and how much stuff we're getting done. With Bookshark, we are also doing Worldly Wise, and this is book 8. So we are also doing this, and this is more grammar, and it says vocabulary development. So he is also doing this as part of the Bookshark program. We did attempt Bookshark once before, and it was just too much for him, and I think it was too much for me too at that time, at that season in our life. I think we were just not really prepared to take it step by step, and I think I was a little nervous to take things out that were optional. I felt like I had to do all the things that it asked of you, and now a few years later we've come back to it, and I decided that optional means just that, optional. It's something, if your child needs it or you feel like you really want to put that in there for them, then you can, but you can also opt out or use something else for it. And so that's what we've been doing with this year and Bookshark, and it's been working out well so far for us. For biology, we are still working through biology according to the days of creation. The little DVD cover, I think, it's upstairs. And I'm too lazy to go upstairs and get it. So I will put a picture up for you. But I just have his notebook. I put it in something, a little floppy notebook like this, and I print out what he needs for it. And then we just kind of work through it that way. I will print out, so that front page there is kind of it's the lesson plans, and then it gives you room, it tells you what It tells you what the activities are for the week and approximately how long it will take your child, and then the actual hours that it takes your child, and then the parent can sign off if it was done and completed. So this has been working out really well for us. He really enjoys, I let him pick his science and he chose biology, and it is working out well for him. He's been enjoying all the things that he's been learning. We have gone through plants, and then he has just started, I believe, aquatic creatures. Yeah, aquatic creatures. And so he's slowly working through this. Not slowly. He's working through it, and it's working out well for us. They do have a couple of labs and things like that that you need to do for lab credit, but they are all pretty doable so far that we've seen. One was a field trip. Another one is going to be a really fun field trip where he gets to go fishing and kind of identify the parts and things like that. But it does give you an option. If that's not something that you can do, you can go buy a goldfish instead. So it does give you other options for the labs, which I really enjoy, because sometimes life gets lifey and you can't always do all the things. So this program works. It is a Christian-based program, so if you are looking for something non-religious, that's probably not something you want to look into. But if you are looking for something that is Christian-based, this is a good one. So he watches a portion on the DVD, and then he has some sort of lab work or coursework to do. There is reading that they do. I didn't print out the entire guidebook for him. I just kind of printed out a couple pages at a time as we need it. So you can choose to do either or, but that's been working for us really well. Another thing that's been working out for us really well for several years is the Math UC program. So Math UC is by Demi Learning, and we have been doing this for several years. Math UC is a program, again, where they watch a short video and then they do the work. It also comes with the teacher manual if you choose to purchase that as well. And in there it tells you step by step how to further explain to your child the concept that they are learning, the math concept. I honestly very rarely have to use the teacher workbook because my son will grasp it from the video that Mr. Demi has on the DVDs, or he also has a digital option so you don't have to watch the DVD. So this is really great. It works well for him. He goes through it pretty much self-paced on his own. We do about 2 pages a day, and then we also do the testing just to make sure that he's getting all the foundations in before he goes on to the next concept. Let's talk about something that hasn't worked out the way we were hoping it would. We purchased For You, They Signed, and this is something I was really hoping that he and my husband were going to do together, but because life gets lifey, it's been a little difficult for them for their schedules to meet up and to be able to get it done. So we've adapted it, and it's one of the great things that I love about homeschooling is that you can do that. We can adapt it for our lifestyle, and so this one is going to take us a little bit longer than intended, but we still want to go through it. So what I've done instead is started it with him, and then he could kind of recap and finish up with his dad on the weekends or something like that. It doesn't take much time for him to recap and discuss, and that I find is really where we can kind of see how much he's absorbing and really getting in those casual conversations and stuff like that when we just ask him to recap and discuss. Tell me what you learned. Tell me what you're thinking about. Those kind of discussions over this book. This book is also Christian-based, though, so again, if that's not something that you are looking for, it's probably not going to be something that you like. But on the flip side, if it is something you're looking for, it would be something you like. It goes through the signers of the Declaration of Independence and talks about them in depth a little bit more. It talks about their personal life, if they were married, if they had children, but it also gives a background on them and kind of where they were at the time of signing. It is also really great to see. We've just are barely getting into it. Like I said, we started a little bit later with it, but we're really enjoying it. It goes into, at the signing of Declaration of Independence, what was happening in our country, what we were really signing, and what independence we were declaring. I also find it really fascinating because I'm learning things that I didn't learn in high school. I went to public school, and I know that there are some things in public school that we are not allowed to talk about. For instance, the first Congress held in Philadelphia on September 5th, 1774, opened with prayer, and it lasted for hours. And so they read Psalm 35, we got to read Psalm 35 together. We read it both here, the copy in the book, and then another version in one of our Bibles. And we talked about it and how they felt that was really relating, and they felt that God was speaking to them through the Psalms. So that is why we were going to go ahead and take our time with this book and get through it, even if it takes us a little bit longer than the assigned school year. And when I say assigned school year, here in our state, we don't have an assigned time we have to finish up school. I just mean your traditional school year from August and September to like May or June. So something that we did end up switching up was our history and geography. And we were originally going to go with Around the World in 180 days or 180 days. I can't even remember the exact thing. I found it. The one we were trying to use is Around the World in 180 days. So we did get both, I guess, what would be considered the manual and then the workbook. We were hoping to do that the summer before 9th grade began, like officially, but it was just too much for us. It was not a kind of open and go book. It really just gave you lots and lots of options of things you could do, and you could kind of just piece together your own curriculum. That I found was just a little too much for me. I did not enjoy geography when I was in school. I still don't really think it's my cup of tea, if you will, but it is something that we need to incorporate and teach and introduce him to. But we just found, like I said, that this was not the one for us. We did try it for a couple of weeks, and it just wasn't for us. So we didn't end up using these. So we decided, after some research, to go with the Lifepac. Lifepac, this is the history and geography. With Lifepac, you actually get several small booklets, and so I believe there's 10 in total, but maybe not. Yeah, it looks like there's 10 in total. And then they just kind of work their way through each book individually. And this has worked out really well because there's a sense of accomplishment that you get when you're all finished with one book and can move on and get to the next one. But also, it's not intimidating as some of the other ones, because he's not like having to carry this whole big book around the house. Or if we're going out and about and running errands, sometimes the kids will do a little bit more car schooling that day. And so this is one of the things that he can throw in his backpack and do. It's all in this little book. You are basically reading and then answering questions to see if you're fully understanding the concepts and comprehending what you just read. So this one has actually been working out a little bit better for us. I do think that history and geography right now is not one of his favorite subjects, because he doesn't thoroughly enjoy doing this, but he has let me know it isn't the format of this as well. It's the information that he's getting. So we're going to keep pushing on and see if it works. He doesn't hate it, so it's not like we did have a discussion about this. It's not that he dreads doing the work, it's just one of the drier subjects he feels for him, and that's to be expected. And I think there's some lesson in that too, where you just push forward and gain and glean what you can from it, because sometimes there are going to be things in life that are not exciting and you've got to push through and do it anyways. But thankfully it isn't something that is like torturesome for him or anything like that. And this has been working so much better than the first option we had. So that is one of the changes that we have for our 9th grade curriculum. And I can't remember, I probably should have watched the video, or at least looked it over before I started this video, but I can't remember if I mentioned that we were going to be going over the 7 Habits of the Highly Effective Teens. So I had picked up this workbook. I actually got it I think I got it for free. I had gone to some homeschool convention or something like that, and it was like on a table of giveaway. Sometimes they do swaps at smaller ones where you can bring in curriculum that you'd like to give or trade or sell for less. And I think that's where I picked this one up first. And I did pick it up before he was a teen, so a couple of years before. And then so when we started high school, I really wanted to make sure that I got the book that went with it, and I found it at a thrift store, which always makes me happy. So I found it and it's in great condition. So we picked this one up too, and we did start going through it together, just him and I. But our local homeschool group is having a free online class, and they are going to be working through it also. So I'm really glad that we did pick this up, because they'll be going through that and we'll be working through this book as well this semester. Another thing that we are going to do with our homeschool group this year is going through finances. We are really excited for this because we do want our son to know clearly finances and how to be responsible with that, how to balance a checkbook, even though we rarely use checkbooks anymore. It's still a skill I feel like he needs to have, and debt and all the things that kind of go in with that. As a child, both my husband and I growing up didn't really have people who were pouring in and letting us know what the difference was between all these things, and we kind of had to piece it together on our own, which can be hard. So I'm really happy that he's going to have the opportunity to go through a finance class that has maybe some more real life applicable things. Like I said, we didn't have the best experience with our little high school course that we got in school. Not to say they don't exist, but we didn't have the best experience. So he is going to be going through Foundations in Personal Finance, the high school edition for homeschool. It is a Dave Ramsey program, so if he is not someone that you agree with, this is probably not the course for you. But for my husband and myself, we do agree with the majority of his finance advice and things like that. And so I did say majority because there's always going to be exceptions, right? But he's going to be going through this as well, and I'm really excited for him to do it and to kind of go through it. We had thought we maybe would go through it at a later time, but the opportunity came up to do it within a group, and so we went ahead and jumped on that. That is it for our high school kind of recap, how it's going right now, our little update. If you have any questions about any of the curriculum or the things that we brought up, please let me know. I will try to link as much as I can down below in the description box for you. But if I forget anything, comment down below and let me know, and I will go ahead and get that up. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to hear continual updates from us, maybe quarterly or semester-wise, let me know. Comment down below what will work better for you, and I'd be more than happy to share that with you. If you aren't a subscriber already, maybe consider watching some of our other videos and see if this channel is for you. We would love to have you as part of our little YouTube family. Consider hitting that subscribe button if you'd like to join, and then maybe the bell notification so that you'll be sure that you don't miss any videos.